Yo, this healing is absolutely insane on the Hunter. It's not insane on any character with classy restoration, but this is just the way how we can keep our dodge going, therefore keeping our classy restoration going all the time. The heal is absolutely ridiculous, and you can keep 100% uptime with Bombardiers. Bombardiers, yes, you heard it right, they're actually useful because the solar scorch that you're applying there, that's working with all your fragments and stuff like that, so you can constantly keep 100% uptime. Because how it's working, I'll go more into the build. As it's working, it's sort of applying the scorch, which is interacting with all my fragments and things like that, so you're going to keep 100% uptime. But basically by the time your classy restorations run out, you can dodge again and just reapply it as long as you're scorching. And then what I've got on there as well is a melee and a solar grenade to constantly apply scorch as well, but you don't need that. Bombardiers and classy restoration will pretty much do the trick. As long as you've got decent mobility, you're going to keep 100% uptime. And this mad healing is crazy. This is a 1590 lost sector, and this is something my friend recommended, so I need to give him a big shout out. Echoes of Madness. So top guy, really intelligent, he always puts together some crazy builds. So I come in, had a little mess around with it, and it's absolutely fantastic. Busted, in fact, you can just keep healing. I mean, I'm running around here like a loony, constantly keeping my class ability going and my classy restoration. Stay tuned, I'm going to show you exactly the build, and as always, I'll always leave a dim link. Just so you can copy and paste the mods. But yeah, so basically the loop of plays, you're just going to keep getting your dodge back all the time with Bombardiers and a few other things. So stay tuned and I'll show you the full setup. I hope you found it helpful. So this is the setup. I'm going to leave a dim link, I've already mentioned, but I just wanted to say dim link is going to be in the comments. The aspects I'm running is on your mark and knock them down. Knock them down, obviously you want this one on, and then on your mark you can change this one out if you like for the gunpowder gamble to cause some explosions. It is really fun. I'm not saying it's not fun, but I just prefer having the extra 3 fragment slots, so we can have a total of 5, because then that way I can really spec into the fragments and sort of maximise all the scorch that I'm doing. Whereas if you run the gunpowder gamble, you're sort of losing quite a few fragments slots, so I personally prefer this one for this type of build. The fragments I'm running, I just want to start off by really saying you could sort of run anything really, to be honest, but this one is the most important one. Ember of Singeing. Your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets, so whenever you're scorching, which I'm using a solar grenade because it applies scorch, and I'm also running this knife trick here. Again, any of these knives you can run. I'd prefer this one because it's quite a cool set of knives, and it's the quickest cooldown as well, and it's pretty easy to hit multiple targets at the same time with it. So Ember of Singeing, Ember of Solace, radiant and restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. So the restoration is the key part, so extending that is pretty decent as well, so that one's a good option. I'd probably say these two actually are quite important. The rest of them you can sort of mess around with yourself. Ember of Ashes, you apply more scorch to targets. Ember of Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and your nearby allies radiant, so you get an extra damage boost from that as well. Ember of Blistering, defeating target with solar ignitions, grants grenade energy. And then the dodge that I'm running is the dodge, Gambler's Dodge, so you're always getting your melee back every time you dodge. Now this is where the synergy comes in with Bombardiers. So Bombardiers, whenever you dodge, it leaves behind an explosive that detonates after a short delay, damaging targets around it and creating a secondary effect based on your subclass type. So in this case we're running solar, so that little bomb that it does, Bombardiers, that's going to apply scorch as long as it hits the target. So you can sort of see the link. The scorch is working with this one, so that's why Bombardiers is really good for this. Then on top of that we've also got our solar grenades and melees to apply more scorch if needed, but like I said, you could probably just get away with that. Running 80 mobility and 100 resilience is crucial. 100 resilience makes you really tanky, and the 80 mobility, you can even run 90 if you can get the stats. I couldn't quite get the 90 and the 100 resilience, but if you can do that with your armour, go for it, go for a 90. It's only going to help the cooldown. The sort of mods that you need is utility kickstart and classy restoration on the artifact. So this gives you ×2, so whenever you use your solar class ability, your dodge, that's going to kick in, and you're going to get 2 times classy restoration with the fragments and everything going on. So you're going to get mental healing, and then utility kickstart. When your class ability energy is fully expended, you gain class ability energy, so more class ability when you dodge. It doesn't really matter about any of these. And then what I have on my arms is grants class ability whenever you cause damage with a melee attack, focusing strike on a void piece, and then grants class ability when you use your grenade against the target as well. So damaging with a grenade or a melee is going to give you class ability back, which is also working with the scorch, Ember of Singeing. So you're always going to keep a nice 100% uptime, and then the rest of them you can sort of buff out. I've just got melee well maker on. I've also got elemental ordnance, ×2 of these, armour of the dying star, and I'm running Font of Might so I can get a constant damage boost from the elemental wells that I'm creating. But that's it, that's the build. I hope you found it useful. It's like I said, 100% uptime on your classy restoration, and you're always going to get your dodge back. I hope it's helpful. Take it easy.